On the Saturday of the fifth week of Lent, we get readings from the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 37, and then the 11th chapter of John. Ezekiel is talking about how the people of God will someday all be one. And it's a wonderful, wonderful reading. And it's in light of that we read that Gospel of John, where the Jewish leaders at the time believed that they might be able to pull everybody together. They might be able to have that unity. But they believe there's one thing standing in the way, and that is Jesus himself. And so the high priest prophesied, I'm reading it straight from the gospel, he prophesied that Jesus was going to die for the nation, and not only for the nation, but also to gather into one the dispersed children of God. So they believe that Jesus' death, like if we can just get rid of him, we'll have that unity. There are some people who call for that today. There are some people who believe they're not the high priests, or maybe they're the high priests of some sort of secular religion, that they believe that Christianity is part of the problem, right? They believe that Christianity is part of the problem because it makes demands on us that pull us out of our own desires, our own base feelings, our own sense of liberty should rule above all, that our own sense of freedom to be able to pursue our whatever desires we have, somehow that's the highest of all goods. But it's not. Liberty and freedom only make sense as a place in which virtue can grow. To be able to develop virtue, to become stronger, for example, you have to have the space in which you are pushed to your limits. To become more courageous, you have to have the space to operate in which you might find yourself occasionally getting scared. To become more wise, you have to find yourself in positions to have to make tough decisions. And that is where freedom makes sense. We too often put freedom up above every other good thing that there is out there. And in that sense, Jesus is going to get in your way. But the truth is, we will also never be united when freedom is our number one top good. We will never be united that way if we have to crush what Jesus is supposed to mean for us, if we have to if we have to excise all of the Christian values and all that so that we can all somehow live free and live wild, and everybody's wildest dreams will come true. That's not how it works. For Jesus to really and truly unite means that we have to be humbled with him, that we have to recognize God's goodness at the height, and we have to recognize God's sacrifice down at the bottom, and everything in between. If we somehow glory in all of the things that divide us, and often we think that that's beautiful, look at all of our differences. Yeah, okay, so sometimes like a beautiful painting needs lots of colors, but those colors have to all be in harmony. They have to all play off of each other and take each other into an account that makes each of them stronger because of the others. That's the way in which Jesus unites all these diverse things that are out there. Jesus unites because he calls from us and out of our heart a love for one another, a care for one another, that we take each other's needs as needs that we personally have, right? So we say, if you're hurting, if you're laid low, well then so am I. Your problems become my problems. I care about you in that way. That's the call for the vertical love that's supposed to happen, and the horizontal love, and then the vertical love that's supposed to happen is that we recognize who that one true God is and the way in which he loves us by coming down to be with us even at our lowest. That's the cross that unites. That's the cross that makes the one big target we are all supposed to be aimed at. Let's let Jesus really and truly then become that unifying force for all of us, that in imitation of him and of love of him, that we might love God more and love our neighbor. Amen.